First one, the biggest news that broke this week: Aguero City has announced that they're looking to offload Sergio Aguero at the end of the season. How are you guys thinking of? So I want to kind of reflect on Aguero's career in the EPL. I think he's one of those players that he's done amazing things. One of the best strikers to ever grace the league, but I don't think that he's been celebrated at that level by rival fans, even City fans, in that respects. So just to kind of touch, what's your thoughts on his career and his legacy in the EPL? Where do you think he's going to go? Some people are saying Barcelona, since Messi, his best friends with Messi, and then also his replacement. Obviously, there's talks of Harry Kane. There's also talks of what's his name, Haaland as well. So yeah, let's open the floor. So yeah, anyone could start. Like, what do you guys think about that?
Yo, you want to take the lead on this one? It's your rival. It's your rival peoples.
I will. I'll start with Aguero when he first came, right? Because I'm one of the Premiership fans. I watch a lot of La Liga. Back in the days when I had a lot of time on my hands, I watched a lot of La Liga. I watched a lot of Bundesliga. So when he came at the time, I knew, like, I was like, whoa, this guy coming here. I was worried when he came. And I remember his debut, I think, was against Swansea. I remember that game because I watched that game. It's like, we're in trouble, man. I remember telling my friend, like, we're in trouble, man. But at the time, if I remember clearly, we started the season well. Everything was, people were like, oh, Ayo, you're always so, like, very reactionary, blah, blah, blah. Then we played the game against them, 6-1. Why it was me that they destroyed us 6-1. And people were like, I got a lot of phone calls from my friends, like, bro, you were right. I was like, dude, I was warning everybody, like, this guy that's come, like, obviously, he had a good team, right? Duclair Tevez was there at the time, David Silva, but he was, in my opinion, he was the missing, like, piece in the puzzle. Like, City had built everything. They had gotten Yaya Toure, they had David Silva. Aguero was the final missing piece that they just put there. Because before, all they had was Dzeko. Dzeko was a good striker, let's be clear. But Dzeko did not do what Aguero was a problem, like, in the box, outside of the box, in the center circle, linking up play, on the wing. Like, when you have that, I call that's like a get out of jail card. City never had a get out of jail card striker. Aguero was their get out of jail card. Nothing is working, give the ball to Aguero. And now, so he was a problem anyways. And now, the second thing I'm going to say, it's not talking too long, is I remember that Aguero moment. I was devastated. The goal he scored against Keeper, I only won the title. And I was devastated because of one thing. The game before, I didn't care. I was like, we've lost the league. Because remember we played them 4 weeks before. They beat us 1-0. I was pissed. I told my friends we lost the league. At that time, I said it there. I said, dude, that they will drop points. I said, we were 10 points ahead, and you let somebody catch you. And just the one game you played them, all we needed to do was not lose to them, and we lost to them. I think we're going to. So I was like, nah, it's done. So I remember the final game. I wasn't watching the games. I was in the wedding. I wasn't watching. I was like, I'm not watching. People text me, I said, I'm not watching. I don't care. City is going to be Keeper. Keeper were going down. Remember? I said, Keeper. I'm not watching. During the wedding, in the reception, we go into like a space. I was like, because I knew the groom was an Arsenal fan. We go into the place. They put on the game. They put on the City game. I'm like, guys, why are you guys doing this? The game was going on. So then I didn't care. All of a sudden, the keeper score. It becomes 2-1. Me, myself saying I didn't care, I got into the game. I was like, yes, keep it up. I got into it. When that final goal went in, I was crushed. I don't think I've ever. I've never felt so sad about any game in my life. That was the game. I remember clearly. Because when that happened, I was like, wow. So yeah. But to talk about Aguero quickly, obviously. So that's just my quick epilogue about Aguero. Aguero is brilliant, obviously, world-class striker. I think he has the best goal per minutes ratio. Obviously, his last couple of years, injuries have messed him up. He didn't really get that much of Aguero, the best of him. Pep is a ruthless manager, because apparently I think they say he has that recurring injury. I think there are rumors that the medical team have told him that the meniscus tear he has in his knees is only going to degenerate. So, I mean, it's cutting him off. It's ruthless. I mean, that's what you do. If you're trying to be a manager, when a player is in decline, you make the choice to cut him off. And that's what Ferguson did for so many years. And people say it was ruthless, but it was winning. That's the same trait that Ferguson and Pep share together. He's a ruthless manager. He is ruthless. Like, move on. We have to move on from this. So I wish him all the best. He's one of my favorite strikers of all time. Because like I say, I think he's at his peak, probably only Thierry Henry in the Premiership. At his peak. I'm saying longest. At his peak, probably only two strikers. Only two strikers in the EPL were better. That's Thierry Henry and Luis Suarez. At his peak. I'm just comparing their peaks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
Suarez
he
was
devastating.
actually, Suarez was a beast.
I wish him all the best. And I think he was. That one season that he was ridiculous. What he was in that season was ridiculous. So I think he'll probably end up in Barca. Those are my thoughts. I think probably goes to La Liga because his familiarity. He's an old man. He's older. He wants to go back to a country. He played for Atletico. Go to Barca. They're not rivals. Warm weather. He just live his life. That's what I think anyway. Because I think his girlfriend too wants to go there. His girlfriend is Italian.
Yeah.
And also
he's
Messi
too. So
his familiarity at this point.
Yeah,
definitely. His best friend. So I think it's more of just that familiarity thing. Back to good weather, back to your home country, back to food. Well, not home country, but you know what I mean. It's Latina, the whole
Trust
Latina
me,
thing.
man,
So,
I do understand. I'm actually surprised that he stayed at Manchester for that long. I'm actually surprised he stayed at Manchester for that long, to be honest. So, but yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. So yeah, who's next up on this?
I'm not gonna lie. I think Kel should take this one because him and Aguero go way back from the Atletico wanted to come to Madrid days. I wasn't as tuned into the Aguero hype as Io and Kel. So I'm gonna let the Madrid boys take this one.
All right, sure. So yeah, very similar. So that I'm obviously a La Liga fan as well as an EPL fan. Now, when Aguero went to City, because before Aguero went to City, he was like, I don't want to be on Atletico anymore, but I don't want to leave Madrid. And I was out here like, come on, Real, let's get him. Like he's basically said, I want to come to Real. Now we didn't get him because at that time I think we just bought like Ronaldo, Kaká, Benzema, and Higuain. So it was like,
hey, that wasn't a bad. That wasn't a bad.
a little top heavy, yeah.
Now when he went to City, I think when he first got there, I think EPL people didn't give him that much respect. Now I always thought it was deadly. It's funny because I saw a caption either today or yesterday where he had 4 strikers on Instagram. It had Rooney, Drogba, Henry, and Aguero. And it was like, my original team was Arsenal, right? Ferguson pushed me to Madrid because I just needed something to beat that Man U class of 92 or whatever. And the moment I saw Redondo do that wildness, you guys know what I'm talking about.
The Redondo?
The Redondo?
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about.
We understand. We traumatize all the childhoods. We understand.
So really my love for Madrid started from them beating Man U in that one Champions League and going on to win it. But then like a couple seasons later they signed Zidane and I was like, this is my team. This is my team. I just didn't know about them from time. Anyhow, long story short, back to Aguero. I
guess Arsenal stopped recruiting Nigerians on their team, so it was kind of that too.
Also huge. These two things happened at the exact same time. So I was like, I need to win. I can't just keep playing with my heart too. Like, I'm going to retire this season. Not really. Yeah. Can you just leave?
He did that like 4 years. I remember that. He's like, I think I'm done. One more season. I think I'm done. He's like Vince Carter. It's like, you gonna retire this year, Vince? We'll see.
COVID hit, and then he was like, I'm out. Anyhow, back to things. So I saw a caption today, and it was an interesting one because they had Rooney, Drogba, Henry, and Aguero, and it's like you have to pick two, bench one, and sell one, right? Who would you pick, right? And immediately I was like, I'm selling Rooney, and no offense, but of that four, I'm selling Rooney. And then it was like I couldn't. I was like, it's who was I gonna bench? And I was like low key, I was like, I might bench Henry, man. I might put Drogba and Aguero in there and bench Henry, and I'm not gonna lie. But that's just kind of speaking to how highly I rate Aguero, in my opinion. He's, I think he's one of the most underrated strikers, period.
Definitely.
I like his goals per minute ratio is the.
Nope. Canada came. That Canadian internet came at the right time. I wonder if I'm going to be next, Ayo. We lost Josh. We lost Kel. So I'm next. Oh, there we go. Kel's is back.
Yeah. I told you it was a Canadian internet. I told you it wasn't Verizon.
Oh man, that kid is slapping back in the face, man.
In terms of pure out and out strikers, I don't know if there's anybody really much better. Drogba, I think, is like amazing, but I think Aguero is up there. But it makes sense that his goals per minute ratio is the highest. I think Suarez could have rivaled him if he came to the Premier League earlier and stayed longer. Because I do think, in my opinion, Suarez is, I think, like the best striker that I've ever watched in his peak. He was just doing stuff that nobody else was doing. Like, he was just ridiculous. But I do think Aguero is underrated. I don't think he's going to end up at Barca, only because I think Barca is focusing on youth. It's like we're going to keep Messi and build around the youth. And Aguero coming in kind of messes up. He's a better Griezmann, but he's like mid to late 30s. So I don't see. It's like you're just bringing the same player and creating the same problem that they had with Luis Suarez. I can see him in Italy, somewhere in Italy, maybe like a Napoli or something, not like a Juve. But I don't think he's going to end up in Barca or in any other team in Spain that's not Barca. Low-key, I can see him in Atleti. I can see Atleti getting rid of Suarez and bringing him back because they like to.
Point. That's actually a good point.
Old players, yeah.
Yeah, because apparently the whole Suarez and Simeone ain't really getting along. To your point, I don't mean to cut you off. To your point, Suarez apparently, rumors of him going back to Liverpool and just finishing his time off there. But to echo that, nothing but praise for Aguero. I will never forget Martin Tyler, Balotelli, Aguero. I will never forget. That is ingrained. It's like a song in my head. And I'm not a United fan. I'm not a United hater. I'm not a City fan. I was brought up through about EPL. I was brought up by Arsenal, Nigerian Arsenal fans. So that's where my allegiance lies in the wonderful Union Jack, as it were. But in terms of where he's going to land, I don't think he will go to Barcelona for that exact what Kel says, that exact reason. I can see if he's going to go to I can't see him in a major team in terms of like Bayern, Juve, Barca, Madrid. He's not going to stay in EPL unless Tottenham lose Kane.
Stop it. He's not going to Tottenham.
And honestly, I think the only top team he can go to is PSG, and Mbappe is going. He's
what
coming
about
home.
Juve?
And so Juve, he won't work there.
Juve loves their old. They love their 29, 30-year-old players. They seem
they're man. There's so much backlash.
There's
so much backlash about the Ronaldo purchase that they're changing their whole philosophy. It's time. Like Artur didn't make sense. But, let's focus on Aguero so we can talk about other things. But yeah, I just think if anything, it's PSG or to Kel's points, maybe in Napoli. I mean, Napoli loves Argentines, and Tottenham.
Yeah,
he's not going to Tottenham. He's not going to Tottenham. It's like Napoli.
That's the only place.
Napoli. It's like Napoli, Atleti, or PSG. I will agree with the PSG. I think honestly, I think low-key Atleti, because they just like to pull these like sneaky deals that nobody sees coming. And that's where he came from. So that's like really his home in Europe.
But apparently, aren't you guys trying to go after their Llorente? You're trying to steal Llorente from United, eh? From Atletico,
United's trying to steal Llorente?
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Atleti says they're not going to negotiate. They say, his release clause. We're not going to negotiate. So Atleti has this hard line stand with this whole, like what happened when they lost Partey. He's not going to work in United, I know. But like,
is there any player that would work in United?
Ole does.
Conte would work perfectly in United, but that's a different conversation. He's been saying this for like a year.
So say if Conte isn't in PSG, he should be in United. That's what we've been saying. Like
United should have gone
makes
for Conte
no sense.
Last summer they should have gone for Conte.
When Conte was there and said, "I don't want Conte."
I don't even want to be United advice. Arsenal, Arteta, if you're watching this, Conte. Come on. Partnering with Partey. We'd love that. That's that black on black violence. You know what I'm saying?
Say no to racism.
Say no to racism. But yeah, man, you know what? Athletic, they've always been that team that, because their main focus, they know that they can't compete with Barca and Real Madrid on a long-term basis or a consistent basis. So they're always looking for, who's that one guy that can kind of do the job this season or at least for the next 2 seasons and then hopefully try to rebuild again. And, so I think Atleti makes a lot of sense. And yeah, Aguero, it was like a love and hate thing for me with him. I think he was kind of like, okay. And then when kind of like what I was explaining that day against QPR, and you just wanted to like throw your shoe at the TV. And just like, I was more screaming at the defenders. I was like, how could you have defended so well for 89 minutes? And then
they brought in Balotelli.
2 more minutes. Sorry?
They brought in Balotelli. I don't know. Balotelli doesn't get enough. He doesn't get enough credit for his assist in that goal because he basically set that stuff. Burrows had to finish. And he finishes. He's like Rashford. Like I think. I'm basically just agreeing with you. I mean, from my perspective, as in putting my Arsenal hat on, it was amazing to watch that game. What was really funny was at the end of that game, because Cisse was in Crystal Palace, and they were supposed to get relegated, and then somehow somebody else lost in the last minutes or something, and so they didn't get relegated, and he was trying to celebrate with Nasri, and Nasri was just like, buddy, leave me alone. I'm trying to celebrate a title. I'm not celebrating not getting relegated. Let me go. But yeah, I think
I have to jump off now. So I just I have to jump off now. But I just want to say as a parting thing regarding that goal, you were saying you blame the defenders, Josh. Yes, in particular. There was a Nigerian defender there that messed up, Taiwo. I don't know if you remember. All he needed to do was not go to ground. He just needed to shepherd that. Just stay on your feet and just be a body in front of him and just screen him to the line. He just dived in. I was like, Taiwo, when I saw that dive goal, I just put my head on the same way I was watching. I put my head down. I knew it was going to be a goal. There's some strikers When I saw I said he's going to score, I just put my head down. I just score.
Thanks
nice meeting you, bro.
Thanks for coming on. I know you just got back from work, so I really appreciate it.
Nice to meet you, Kels. No problem. You're in the show, all right?
Soa.
Nice to meet you. Oh,
cheers,
okay.
Yeah. I'm Ghanaian. You're saying the so like I'm Nigerian, like Shola.
This guy. I just clued in on that. Yeah, guys. So while we're still on this Aguero conversation, Who do you guys think like Man City actually? Who do you think Man City is going to go for in terms of their replacement, and who do you think would make the most sense for their
Kel
replacement?
said it. They're going to go for Haaland first, and they're not going to get him, and then they're going to go for Kane. Kane needs to leave. If Kane does not leave this year, he will leave and never win a trophy. When he does leave, he needs to leave this year. It makes no sense for him to not be at City. I just don't know if City wants to take another chance with an injury-prone person. That's my only thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know who else will come after Kane. If it was Kane, I don't know, Kels. If you have an idea.
No, I don't. I'm actually shocked. Well, not shocked, but it kind of sucks that that's like the direction you went, because that's literally. I completely agree. I think they're going to go for Haaland first. They're not going to get him, and then they're going to get Kane. And I think they will take the chance on Kane. Because they can probably play him with less pressure. I feel like the problem with Kane in terms of his injuries is that he's had to do so much, and he's just not. He's playing like a Benzema role without the Benzema body or whatever it is. I mean, right?
Or Aguero,
because he's been playing deep. He's been playing pretty deep lately. So
he's literally playing at like a 9.5. Like he's playing like a 9-10.
He's not a center forward. He's a striker. He's been playing as a center forward for the last minimum half decade of his career, and it's insane.
He's playing like center forward and supporting striker for the past half decade of his career.
Yeah.
And I think if he just goes in there, and one City has experience with, they don't really need a striker anyways. What they need more so is a striker that can play, which I think is more so the Kane mold than the Haaland mold. Haaland is he's like a just Van Nistelrooy on steroids.
No, man.
Kane is more the Benzema mold. I think it's more like the type of striker, like the Messi. I don't think he's gonna go for Messi.
Messi's not leaving Barca.
Man, I've seen Kane whipping crosses with his left foot, right foot. His soccer IQ is phenomenal.
Guardiola
fits more Pep's mold. Yeah, Haaland is very direct, and so I don't know that he's necessarily going to fit Pep's style. I feel like they will go for him for the headlines and just because they like to they have the money.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't low key. I just don't think Haaland wants to go to City.
His dad was a United. His dad played at United. I mean, his dad played at City, but the only link he has with United is Ole. And so if you go into EPL, I think it's only going to be United. I don't think his dad was a defender for City. Like that's not enough.
He's 20 also. Sorry, go ahead, John.
Is he even 20? I think is he 20?
Yeah,
I thought he was.
No, I thought
he's the same age as Mbappe, so I guess he's turning 20 this year.
He's 2 years. He's 2 years younger. 2 years younger.
He's 2 years younger.
Right? So
Mbappe's 22. Is he 22 already?
Yeah, he's 22. Man.
He was 19 at the World Cup.
Wait, World Cup was 2 years ago? Oh yeah, World Cup was 2 years ago.
19 at 717, fam.
Wait, no, yeah, you're right. 4 years ago, the World Cup was 4 years ago.
No, 3 years ago, yeah.
3 years. Yeah, he was 19 then.
So, 3 years, right? Next year will be the 4th year. So yeah.
I know. So COVID has we've lost like.
It's messing me. Let's not even get started. It's messing me up.
I was filling out a form the other day. They're like, "How old are you?" I was like, "How old am I?"
Man,
I don't know.
Let me ask you: is it 2020 or 2021 or 2022? Where are we right now?
But there's rumors of Haaland, like Chelsea looking to go for Haaland this summer.
They're not going to get him.
You don't think so?
No,
I don't think so. No, I don't think he's like. Why would he go to Chelsea?
I just feel like United is his least viable destination. I just don't see why he would want to come to United.
Why would he not want to come to United?
United needs him more than anybody else who just
that is attractive right now, apart from the money.
United is Josh, I've told you this for at least a year and a half now. United does not. If you guys had a striker, right? If you kept Pogba, in my opinion, you need to get rid of Fred and figure out somebody else to play next to Pogba. Fred's just not it. Yeah, you can get Vidal. You can get. There's a lot of people. So
No.
what
I
do you
meant
think?
Arturo that went from Barca to Juventus and is failing right now.
Oh, that
Shoot,
guy.
Pjanic.
Not
He is
not
failing.
him. Not him.
No.
Not Pjanic. Not Pjanic either. I don't know. Go for who somebody who can just actually lock stuff down. And
Oh, you're talking about
I
like a
feel,
Partey type defender.
yeah.
That's
Somebody to
where
play
you
next
guys
to
messed up.
Pogba.
Yeah.
Somebody to play next to Pogba. That's it. Like, but the biggest problem is that you don't, in my opinion, you do not have a striker. You just don't. Like,
but okay, not to make this like, obviously we won't touch too much on this. I hear what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. And I think that's being fans like who are not in support of Ole is we know what the issues are. Is the problem is, first of all, is the board going to go for those players? Probably no. And then two,
your board made changes, right?
yeah, but what are the changes though? Like the
Your
one
board was
person that
trying
was
to go for
actually
Haaland.
experienced,
What do you
Icky
mean?
Butt, he
Your
didn't
board
get
was
the
trying to go
job.
for Haaland, man. Before he went to Dortmund, your board was trying to go for Haaland. Why do you think Haaland would not be a good fit at United? Or you just don't think Haaland would come to United?
I just
That's
don't
what he's
believe.
saying.
I just don't believe that the system that we have and the coach that we have, like a player is gonna be successful. Like I just feel like United were like 5 years away from winning a trophy, just with the way
I think if
things are going.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I just feel the way things are going. But that's what I'm saying. Like if Ole can show me that he's gonna pick the right players for the right games, then yeah, Haaland will be obviously. I would want Haaland to come, but to me, anybody who's watching United right now, you can't tell me that you think that there is a game plan for us to win trophies. It doesn't. I just don't see it. I just don't see
I think,
it.
You're preaching to the choir, man. We ask ourselves these questions, man, every single match.
I was gonna
somehow
say
it works out.
I was gonna say this. If you have good enough players and good enough, so why would Haaland come? I think, above all else, United finished in second, and just guaranteeing Champions League, right? And looking at the roster, forget the coach. I don't know if you remember the Madrid season, the Ronaldo, when we played Juve in the final.
Yeah.
Like, it's not so much like, sure, yeah, I watched Zidane's halftime speech and before the night speech, but he was telling them, guys, play fast, play to the wings, move the ball fast. But it's just like, if you have good enough players and you keep it very high level, right? You don't need to be a Pep or a tactical genius or whoever you consider a tactical genius. I think if you bring Haaland, just your roster, your starting lineup at least, is good enough to just all he needs to do is play Pogba, Bruno, Haaland. It doesn't matter who's on the wings. Just play Rashford, Martial, or whoever else on the wings. Your back line is good enough. Like, just make sure you remind them, guys. Make sure you don't leave any man open every game before the game.
But the problem I find
do you remember when Barcelona only had in the defense was it PK and
they had no defenders.
Who was it? Mascherano, who was a center, a CDM. So if you're telling me that PK and Mascherano is a better defensive back line than Maguire and Lindelof or Bailly, come on, man, you're lying to me. There's no chance.
You just need 5 trophies.
You just need someone to help Pogba in the midfield, so that Bruno doesn't have to do what he's doing. It's not big. We talked about this, but once you have Haaland and the other guys, you're good.
Yeah, I just for me, I'm just a bit like and you guys are making some great points. I just don't see it with the manager that we have. I just feel like
the manager will leave and the players will stay.
You would do better with a better manager. Exactly. The manager always going to leave eventually.
Yeah, but now they're offering
better
him
with
new
a better
contracts.
manager.
I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
Contracts don't mean
anything. A new contract because he's second in the league. There's no way you're not going to fire him when he's second in the league. You're just not. No. You're going to offer him a new contract, and then the whole point is just he's coming second. He's got to he brought Bruno last year, finally. He's got to bring in even more firepower. And eventually it will reach a point where it's like this team can obviously do more and then he will leave. It's the same thing. Trust me, as a Madrid fan, we're going through the same thing with Zidane. It's like Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys have made some great points that it's kind of making me see a different perspective of it. But for me, if you were to say, as if I was a soccer player with talent, the last place I'll be looking is Manchester United.
Not the last.
But think
But
about
if
not
they,
the last.
maybe
think
not the
about
last place. Obviously, it's still Manchester United. But I just mean in the
thing
sense
about
of,
United too, though, is like you guys can pay as well as anybody in Europe. That's the other thing that you need to factor in, right?
Okay.
You have the history. It means more, I think, as a player going to United and restoring them to like United of the United that we all know, and some of us hate, some of us love.
And
Than
that's
to
why
go to
Pogba
us.
chose United over Real Madrid. He's like, I'll go to Real
Yeah, he
Madrid when
literally
I establish
chose.
myself.
but now
He
people are beginning
literally.
to see the scapegoats, though. People are beginning to see what has happened with all these
Sure.
players that we brought in to try to
Sure. But
reignite. I just feel
aren't
like
those temporary scapegoats, Josh? Aren't those temporary? Managers are always the scapegoats, and rightly so.
no, not
Because
the
you can be
managers,
like
not the
Zidane
managers,
and be
just the
very high
players
level
that
with a
have.
genius squad, or you can be like Tuchel and be very detailed with a a luxury squad, and you'll have very different results. And so the problem isn't the players as much as it is the managers. The players are there to play for the club, but the moment the manager leaves, it's that they love. It ends up being playing for the money. The good thing was the good thing with Tuchel, he always makes it about the football. And I'm not a Tuchel fan. He always makes it about the football. That's where it doesn't always work, depending on whether you're looking at a luxury team in terms of squad or whether you're looking at a team that is getting paid luxury money, but really they ain't that good. I mean, very real. Chelsea ain't ballers.
I'm kind of like, okay, let's, it is what it is this season. We're second in the league, but I just feel like this second in the league is just like, it gets to the point that it's like, we're second in the league though, but it's like it's masking so much. And it's not all on Ole. It's not all on Ole. The board, first of all, the board putting Ole on a permanent deal was like, that was first of all the mistake, but he's done a good job. I'm not saying that Ole has been awful. He's done a good job. I just feel like he's kind of hit that ceiling. But if someone was to tell me that, okay, United has a plan, and if you can get these players in, and hopefully the board is able to actually fire. And that's the thing I'm also worried about is the board. I feel like they want somebody who is going to be like an Ole, who is going to be all about, oh, I love this club, and he's going to say everything that needs to be said in order to keep his job and in order to continue to promote the good name of United. And I think that's what we need. Sorry?
You should go get Beckham then.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but you know what I mean? But I think like, as long as if Ole can show me like this final lap of the season, whereby now players are coming back, this is crunch time in the season. If Ole can show me that he's going to be flexible, no longer this just Daniel James, Fred and stubbornness that he keeps showing. If he can show me flexibility, then I'll support it.
I don't think you have much within your current squad. I don't think you have much variation within your current squad that's going to change anything at all in terms of your season. I think your season is destined to hoping that you're going to win one of the cups. But in the league, you're going to just try to hang on a second. For sure, you're going to finish the Champions League, and I think that's good enough for Ole. I just do not see how the squad. I'm not saying that Ole is great. I just don't. I think even if you had like a Guardiola or whatever manager you want, Klopp, whoever, I just don't think you can get that much more out of this club because at the front, there's like areas where you're just missing players. And so I think the real assessment of Ole is going to be through the summer. And I guess it depends on whether or not Haaland, Dortmund, I think I saw a report saying they want 180 million for him.
180 million
this summer. 180 million this summer.
Or else 70 million next summer.
Or 70 million next summer. So that's like a calculation gap. So I think it's based on whatever reinforcements he can bring in. But if that's the judgment that he's making, then I'd say just go find a striker, find a stopgap. But I think the assessment of Ole will be over the summer because he wanted to bring in Haaland. He wanted to. Your board, for some reason, could not have brought him in. If he had brought in Haaland, it would not even matter about his coaching abilities. Like Haaland, he's just dragging Dortmund over every hurdle that there is single-handedly. So I think I don't think Ole is a stellar coach. I don't think he's a stellar coach. I agree with you. His decisions are weird I still don't
And that's what I'm
understand
saying.
why.
And it has something to do with the league position, and that's why I keep saying, I keep repeating about. Let's put if you're not coming first, as long as you finish top 4, to me is all the same. Whether you finish second, third, or fourth, you make Champions League. So in that respect, I'm not really focused about what position we are. If we're not winning the league, then top 4 is just the same. Whether you're second,
Well, you're not winning the league. You're not winning the
and
league
that's
with
what I'm
any
saying.
manager with that squad.
And that's what I'm saying, and I do get that. What I'm trying to say is, at least let us see what you're doing with the squad. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not looking at Manchester United based on results and league position anymore, because Ole has done that. He finished third last season. That was great, and we even played better football last season. I mean, end of last season. There's reasons why, but either way. But for me, top 4 is guaranteed. Well, almost guaranteed. So for me, it's not really about the result at this point. It's more of, most fans, like most of us, we just don't want to sit through the same type of decision makings.
You don't think it's a squad? You don't think the squad is
No,
just
but
you
it's
have
not
the same
alienation
player
of players.
everywhere.
So okay, why are you playing the same player?
You have the same type of
on
player
the ground
everywhere.
Why?
Josh honestly believes if Guardiola, Tuchel, or Klopp were managing United, they would get more out of.
I'm not saying that we're going to win it, but
they wouldn't. They would probably be within. They probably be within a game of City. I think that's what Josh is trying to say.
Not that
even
good.
If we're not within the City, what I'm trying to say is, like, think about like Ferguson's time. Let's just use Ferguson for example. Let me use Ferguson for example. There's teams across Europe that we all watch it. We all watch different leagues. I still watch other teams in Europe, and I enjoy whether they win the league or not. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about, I just want to enjoy the sport again. I want to be able to
Your
like
players
morning and I
are
want
not
to see my
that
team.
great, Josh. The United players. I feel like Ole is not the greatest coach in the world. I agree, but your roster, I don't think can play much better than they are currently playing. That's the point I'm trying to raise. United just doesn't have. They have. I'm going to list like 3 players that can walk onto any lineup and start, right? You have Pogba, right? For sure, can start in any lineup. In my opinion, Rashford can start. If I was a coach in any team, I would start Rashford on any lineup and just I'd have very specific instructions for him. And to a certain degree, Bruno, I think can start in the lineup, but you just need to will him in depending on the team that he's on. That's it. The rest of that squad,
David De Gea, no.
Stop it.
Well, he's
the rest
done
of that squad.
David De Gea is like he's on his last leg.
Great
career though. Had a great career, but
yeah, the rest of that squad, I think, is like they're interchangeable.
Any other team, like it's like I don't know that I would start anybody else on that squad over the Arsenal starting lineup. This was my point. I was like, your roster, I don't think is as good. Like the options, like. Now I will give you the Van de Beek point. I don't understand. It feels like I don't know if he didn't want to buy him and somebody just forced him on him. But it's weird that he's like just refusing to play him.
Yeah, it feels like a Bill situation.
That's weird.
Without the injuries.
Yeah.
And then like the repeated subs, it's like I just don't think the United team is as good. I think your squad needs a few more pieces before you can.
Yeah, really and I see where you're coming from, but that's the frustration that I think some of us fans have. It's not about, we know our squad could be, we know it can be upgraded. We know it can be, we know it can be all that.
Yo, Josh, I don't think you can hear us.
Hello?
Yo, Kels, can you hear us?
I can.
Kels, wave if you can hear us. You can see us? Oh yeah. I figured he could hear us. I was
trying to take him out to see if maybe it was. Yeah, he's frozen there. But sorry, my point, I'm sure he's trying to fix it. But my point is, not before we move on, is I get all that. I get all that. Like, yeah, the squad is not what it is, what we think it is, and blah blah blah. My thing is just his stubbornness is what frustrates me, and his favoritism is what very annoying. Let's start with Eric Bailly, for example. Eric Bailly, when he's fit, shows us the quality that he has. But what does Ole do? Moment
Doesn't
Lindelof
allow him to get fitness.
just puts him out. But I'm not saying that, yeah, you should play Bailly in every game. You know that
but you have to allow them to get
then
fitness.
a wise coach would protect him for the games that really matter, because we need somebody like that is strong. And the whole team, every fan says it. That's the one thing that every United fan has agreed on. When Bailly starts, our midfield looks a lot better. We look more composed. There's more.
And I will say this, because you asked a question. You said you asked a very question, which I think answers. I have the answer for you. Is that how do you, how as a fan do you get to the point where you don't get frustrated anymore, and you can't. You can't. You're a fan. It's in there. Like I watch games and I'm like, why is this person playing? Like I watch Inter, for example, or Juventus, or PSG, Bayern.
Yeah.
EPL, so many EPL games, and I'm just like, why are you not playing this person or doing this? And I just don't care. I don't get frustrated because it's not my team, right?
But now it's my team, right? So that's why, and I have to watch that week in, week out, and it's just like there's no explanation. And then you go into the midfield. Okay, we're seeing here that we need to retain the ball. We need to have possession. We have one of the best ball retainers in European football, in Van de Beek. Like when he was in Ajax in the Champions League, yeah, you guys might laugh at that, but he's way better than the McTominay and a Fred. Let's just face it, right? No one said that he should be starting every game. Oh, sorry. No one is saying that he should be starting every game, but you got to figure out a way to utilize the guy, right? And then you go up front. When you realize that our whole system, we create maybe like one chance in like one good chance per every like 100 minutes or something like that. So for me, I see the points that you guys are making. The frustration for me, like I said, it's the stubbornness to try something different, and the favoritism with players that it's just like these players are lucky to be at Manchester United.
I just think his options are limited. I do see the point that you're making.
Look at this, for example. Tellus has maybe started maybe like 5 games, let's say, right?
But Josh,
every game he starts, why? And he plays well, and everyone's like, "Wow, Tellus has actually delivered more balls into the box than anybody else. He's going up more. Why do you have to take him off in the 60th minute? It's like clockwork. Like everybody knows what Ole is going to do when you have Tellus, Van der Beek, and who was the other guy playing? I forget the other guy. It's like clockwork. He has to bring them on. So that's nobody's saying that these guys are better or whatever. It's just like try to use your squad. What's his name?
But Luke Shaw, though, if you look at the stats, Luke Shaw has actually he's the most productive left back this season. He is putting more.
He is, but if you're gonna play Tellus, then play Tellus though. Why do you have to sub him off every game? And first of all, too, Tellus, when he comes on, he's showing that he can do the job as well. So if you're gonna rest Shaw, then rest him. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's other positions in the field that could be subbed. Like growing up, like right backs and left backs that's like the least of your problem to be subbing. When the issues in the midfield or in the strikers, you're subbing a right back to do what? To do the exact same thing that was already being done. My issue, and that's what I'm trying to say, is it's not about the options. Sorry, well, I think it was Saeed TV. They did like basically ranking all the Manchester United players this season. Do you know that 75% of our squad was either NA or not enough games played? Because we've had the same starting 11 week in, week out, bar injuries. Even when they have injuries, the moment they're fit, they're thrown back on. But somebody else gets injured, Ole will give them 5 weeks he will say, "Oh, I'm trying to work them back into the team." Look at Rashford, barely fit, thrown back in for 90 minutes. You know what I mean? And that's the thing I'm saying. Is the choices and the decisions that he's making. And if Ole is not a great coach, why are you going to hire like Fletcher? Look at our management team. Whole management team, just rookies everywhere. It's like an old boys club. Class of '92, everyone's just coming out there to just have fun.